When did systemic racism end, and what is your definition of systemic racism?
So first of all, this is a rookie mistake. The young man ceded the argument to Charlie Kirk by asking him to define systemic racism. That immediately put the debate inside Kirk's imaginary framework. Kirk could say systemic racism is whatever he flushes down his toilet, and now you're stuck debating his definition. That's the first deception.
Racism is a law on the books that prohibits an individual from doing something based on their race. It largely ended with the Equal Rights Amendment and the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s.
According to the dictionary, Kirk's definition of systemic racism is wrong. If you don't know that, you assume everyone agrees it only means racist laws passed by the government. But sociologists, psychologists, politicians, and professors widely recognize that systemic racism goes far beyond laws. Once that misunderstanding is accepted, the rest of the argument becomes meaningless. If you don't know the real definition, suddenly Kirk sounds like he has a point. Everything after that is built on a false premise. Second deception, the assumption that once discriminatory laws disappear, everyone instantly becomes equal. That's ridiculous. The end of Jim Crow laws was only about 60 years ago. People who lived under those laws are still alive today. Some experience them directly in schools, housing, policing, loans, jobs, and daily culture. There are people alive today who went to segregated high schools and colleges. Their families were shaped by those conditions. To pretend that suddenly vanished the moment the laws changed ignores reality. Imagine someone gets eye cancer. The cancer is cured, but the person is left blind. Just because the cancer is gone doesn't mean the blindness disappears. You wouldn't expect that person to fly planes or drive cars the next day. That's basic logic, and it's supported by statistics and common sense.
Okay, and so do you think that it just ended right then and there, and there's no lingering effects of that could, kind of explain some of the disparities we see today, or no?
If the hypothesis of lingering intergenerational 60-plus year effects are true, then you must tell me how Jews have done so materially well post-Holocaust, despite everything being taken from them.
Well,
Third deception, comparing African Americans to Jews. First, Jews were also discriminated against in America. That doesn't prove anything except that America historically discriminated against many groups. Native Americans, Italians, Catholics, women, LGBTQ people, there's a long list. If we're comparing suffering, it turns into discrimination Olympics, because apparently America back then was...
We don't got time to dice white people up into little groups. I hate everybody. I don't care if you just got here.
But the histories are not the same. Africans were kidnapped, transported, and enslaved here. Jews largely immigrated voluntarily, forming tight communities rooted in Jewish culture and religious law. They taught each other to read, supported Jewish businesses, and built networks that strengthened their communities. African Americans, after 250 years of slavery, faced another century of Jim Crow, segregated schools, broken families, and systemic barriers. Those two histories are not remotely equivalent.
I don't think that's a one-to-one.
You're right, Jews had it much worse than blacks. Have black Americans ever had a crazy, fanatical dictator trying to kill half their population in a span of 5 years?
We have been enslaved for hundreds of
No, that's not the
years.
question. I'm saying, I'm saying Jews actually had it far worse than black Americans did in the 1930s and 40s.
Second, the Holocaust did not happen in America. It happened in Europe. No one in America was attempting to exterminate Jews. So using American Jewish success statistics to dismiss black historical disadvantage is dishonest. If you want an apples-to-apples comparison, look at Jews in Germany after the Holocaust. The Jewish population of Germany today is about 0.1%, roughly 125,000 people out of 85 million.
They got the hell out of there.
Most Jews left because they didn't want to live where people tried to exterminate them. That alone says something about African American endurance and courage. They stayed and built a culture despite slavery and Jim Crow.
To prove the argument that it applies to other groups. So your argument is that things pass down through generations, right? That there's aftershocks, there's a ripple effect. We discount that as very minimal at best. So you have to show me another minority group that has suffered that it held them back. We discount that as very minimal at best. We discount that as very minimal at best.
Then there's the claim that we discount slavery and Jim Crow at the minimal or best. Who is we? White people, who decided centuries of oppression should have only a minimal effect on people's lives. The oppressors? To say slavery and segregation should have almost no long-term impact assumes people can endure generations of oppression and simply pop back into equal opportunity overnight. That's not analysis. That's ideology. Debate is fine. Political arguments are fine. People can disagree about polity. But the real issue is when someone makes these arguments in the name of God. That crosses into something deeper, calling evil good and good evil. Taking God's name and attaching it to deception, lies, and oppression. In 2 John, believers are warned about teachers who distort truth while claiming divine authority, and about those who align with them. John says, don't even let people like that into your house. Don't even say hello to them. And Jesus' warning is even sharper. In the Gospel of Matthew, many will say, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, perform miracles, and do mighty works? And the reply will be, I never knew you. Away from me, evildoers.